drive in the future time.
Calling all cars, Crooks spotted escaping on airspeeder. Rock Crusher, escape artist extraordinaire. Cops assault vehicle, Crooks airspeeder. Cops and Crooks sold separately with caps.
Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about Volume 2 of my Righting My Wrongs. And this is where I talk about several different vintage toy lines. And I talk about stuff that I didn't talk about in my main videos. And it's an excuse to talk about a whole bunch of different toy lines on a Retro Wednesday, just to have some fun, revisit old toy lines without doing entire collection videos, which are some of my favorite videos to make. But we're going to get into talking about this. We're going to talk about stuff from Power Lords again, oddly enough, Rambo again, and then we're going to be doing some Police Academy again. We're going to talk a little more about Bionic 6. We're going to touch on some Cops and Crooks we haven't talked about in a while. I haven't talked about Crystar in a while, so we're going to talk about all of these toy lines and some variations, stuff I didn't talk about in the past, coming up. So first off, we're going to talk a little bit about Cops and Crooks, something that I haven't talked about much lately. And I want to point out a couple of things about this reuse of this mold from the Jailbird Cruiser to what they call the VR Skyborg Jet. Skyborg Jet. And it's pretty cool. It's definitely a more enhanced version of this. We're going to do some comparisons, some compare and contrast, show the similarities and the differences on it, but it's oddly enough got a lot of differences, as similar as it is and as much as they reuse of the mold. But looking at it side by side, you look at it, you can see the main structure, this where it's reddish mauve or whatever, and this is black. They are the same, and maybe I didn't get all of that in frame. It's not a big vehicle, but it seems to not want to get into frame. Now I think they did keep this back piece the same. That looks the same. Then, oddly enough, if parts are the same, I bet you can just swap them out. But this one has like a little hole in it, a little round piece, and it doesn't. But this is all the same in the back. Just, of course, some different stickers and different colors of it. And then we get over here to this main unit here. Now, this top piece, I believe, it clips on, it's the same. Except, nope, this one has holes in it, as to where this one has rectangles in it right here. And it has little bombs, tiny bombs right there, where this has big orange neon bombs. In the 90s were all about neon. They weren't quite into the 90s neon just yet. The front tip of it is a little smaller, so it can clip on. This little tip here is smaller to clip on this gun. I doubt I could clip this gun onto here. It's not the same size. Well, I guess I was wrong. You could clip that gun onto there if you wanted to, for whatever reason, just for fun. Looking at it from the bottom and the side here, they have the same exact pieces right here for landing gear, and both do not work well. They do not want to stand very well on this, like landing gear, or whatever you want to call those. This one's standing well on that, but it just seems like a little bit of movement. It bumps, it falls over. It is not very stable. Obviously, the decals and stickers are a little bit different, but it's so cool to have such a similar type of a vehicle reuse. Kenner's known for that with kind of their Ewok Village to the Sherwood and all that kind of stuff. But that is the VR Skyborg Jet. They also made a Pursuit Jet. So there's a Pursuit Jet for this. This has a Pursuit Jet, but they look completely different. Next up, we're going to talk about Revell Power Lords and some stuff I didn't have or didn't talk about when I had made my full video. This is Drench, and he's part of the Series 3, Series 2, Series 3, later Series ones that are hard to get. But he's actually not a hard figure to get. It's just hard to get this little piece here. It's a little water kind of pump thing. And what happens is that you squeeze it, you fill it up with water, and then you depress this back piece to squeeze the water to shoot out his chest right here. So that's something I didn't have back when I did my video, I don't think. But if I did, anyway, right and wrong. Gun's actually kind of a challenge to get also. Cool figure, three-legged figure. You don't see very many three-legged figures around. And then we also have this. So this is the Patroller, which is really cool. And it's a lot like the Spyzor. This is the Spyzor, which is, one's a good guy vehicle, one's a bad guy vehicle. And I think the Spyzor is the good guy, and then this one's the bad guy vehicle. Again, I don't really know. Just think it's cool looking. And I had to get it to complete the line. And waiting saved a lot of money because people always want like $300 for this thing, which is dumb because in 20. I saw one for 30, but it was, of course, it's missing everything. So, and I haven't seen the parts since then. So getting him to stand up is a challenge. I'm going to put him off to the side for a second so we can look at this. But it's kind of cool. It's got some adjustable guns. It's got a little something right here, some dashboard. It's got this thing here which will fire the projectiles. It's not very far. You also have a spot right back here to hold the other projectile, and then you've got the battery cover and stuff. And also it does work. Let me showcase how it works. I just want to point out how it's got a little notch right in here where his back piece will go into it, so he'll fit. I don't know if that's set up so he'll fit. I don't know if it's also set up so he'll fit because he's got that third leg. I mean, it's interesting how they have that set up, and it just seems like this is a later version, but I think they actually have that notch. Yeah, they have that in the other one also. So all these figures will fit. But now you flip the switch on and he'll go, and he goes fast. But there it is, Power Lords, Patroller, and Drench. Now we're going to talk about Rambo, and it's not exactly Rambo, it's the Series 2 Dr. Hyde. And when I made this video, I don't think I had everything about him. I think I did have his head lighting up. That was one thing I had to have, was his head to light up. And that was important for me to have his head light up. Now, that is cool, and there's other stuff with this guy. That he has a backpack, and I don't know, it looks like he's got oxygen mask and stuff, you know, stuff to make him stay alive. Here is his gun. It's kind of like an open handle on the back. Now, I was kind of hoping they would reuse another gun instead. They make this special one for him. It does clip right into here so that he can carry it. But that's not even the biggest thing. The hardest part about this guy is getting this stupid little pistol. And when I made my video, I think I had him with an alternate pistol. And this is the real pistol. And this stupid pistol is hard to find. Hard to come by, hard to find, expensive. Also the holster, it's also kind of tabbed into it. So it's one of those things, it's really hard to swap holsters. If you heat it up really good and pop it out, and then heat it up really good and pop it in another one, sometimes it works, but sometimes it does not. But let's see what this looks like in his hand. This is such a tiny little pistol. All of these guns for Rambo are so big, except this one. Even the pistols are really big, but this one is just like tiny. It's like a sawed-off, instead of a sawed-off shotgun, a sawed-off pistol. I don't know. It is so, it's hard to even get it captured on here, but it's so tiny. That's why it's hard to get. That's why it's easily lost. And the smaller the part, and the more easily lost, the more expensive that stupid thing is. And I don't know, I even remember how much I paid. I think I paid $70 for it. I thought that was just a ridiculous amount. Because I was like, oh yeah, I got a good deal on the Dr. Hyde figure, until I had to buy this stupid little gun. And now I'm terrified to take it out of my display because I know I'll lose it if I'm not super careful. Yeah, Dr. Hyde, his gun. Alright, next up we're going to talk about two Police Academy JAXA variants. These are color variants from JAXA. So what happens when they make them, they don't make them exactly the same all the time. I think they tried to, they intended to. I think this was like an unintended consequence of their manufacturing. So the one on the left is the one that Kenner made, and they both retain the head pop-up function. The only difference really is the coloration. So you have white pants, green shirt, but the green is different, but you have purple on the US release, and you have the Argentina JAXA orangish right there, orangish reddish for the vest and the boots. And the boots are actually brighter color than the vest for whatever reason. But then the accessories are different colors. So you have this accessory, which are the same, and they're swappable, which I'm going to be careful. I don't want to mix them all up and get confused, because they're very similar in some ways because they're the exact same one. But yet this one's gold, and that one's kind of a darker, dark metal color. This is kind of a stainless steel silver color. This is more of a dark granite. Would that be a color? Anyway, there it is with that figure in the color variants. But we're going to get into the cat burglar. Cat burglar, and it's really just an accessory difference. And it's not even, I don't even think the cat's any different. I think it literally is just the accessories. So if you look at it, the fishing pole and the hook and the color of the string it's blue and white versus all orange. And then you have the propellers blue on the Joxa version. And then even the backpack's all orange versus this is kind of a yellowish with a teal. So you got a color variation, which I always find fascinating. And it's always interesting to get these weird, quirky, different things that are variants. A lot of fun. Police Academy is such a wacky little toy line. I can't wait till someone pops up with the unproduced items. They're on every card back. There's like a four-wheeler, and then there's whatever this thing is. It's the four-wheel and the crime something. Mini chair, wheelchair, crime wheelchair. Let's zoom in on that. It is the crime mulcher. Crime mulcher. Next up, we're going to get into Bionic 6, and there's a manufacturing variant. And so it's not really a big deal for aesthetics. If you have it on a shelf, they all look the same, for the most part. But it's interesting, too, because looking at the coloration of these, this one over here is got some brighter reds. This one's kind of duller red. So it could just be wear and tear and over time. But you look around to the back, and you notice that, and I'm going to try to get this on here. The one on the left definitely has screws. The one on the right has what appears to be rivets. And it's you just can't take a Phillips head screwdriver and unscrew that. You can on this one. You cannot on this one. So this is a variant that somebody brought up to me. And I thought it was quite interesting. Why would they do that? Why would one get a rivet and one get a screw? I think that maybe a screw would even be cheaper for manufacturing. But I actually don't know. So anyway, it's an interesting variant. I know it was brought up on Meg. I didn't look through all of every one of them, but I'm sure it's going to show up on other figures too. So manufacturing variant. Why does it matter? Well, let's say you get 3 figures and you want to put the best chest with the best legs with the best pelvis. You can't do that if one of them's riveted together. That's a problem. Anyway, just wanted to bring that up. So the last of my righting my wrong video is going to be with Crystar. Now, Crystar has been kind of, I guess, getting hot again because of the Marvel release, but the thing is, that makes it harder to get stuff, by the way, and more expensive. But this guy here, I don't know his name, and people say he is a dragon rider. So I've got 3 explanations of what he is, and I would love somebody to direct me to where I can find a picture and actually solve this mystery, so it's still a mystery. So the 3 is that he is, number 1, a dragon rider. And I brought the Koth figure out because they look very similar, but this one has like darker green versus teal. So they're not related at all, and this one has the horns, like he's wearing a helmet and stuff. We'll set him to a side. Now, getting over here, you can see the rider. They have the same kind of head, for the most part. For the most part, their heads are about the same. They don't have a helmet where it's soft, but they are completely different figures. I can't, for the life of me, like, I really don't think he fits well on the dragon. I tried, and I just can't get him to fit on there, and I'm not going to risk breaking him because he is kind of a harder figure to get nowadays. He wasn't back when I was collecting this stuff years ago, but nowadays this one's gotten harder to get. Someone else says he comes with the castle, but I had a couple people debunk that, say that they've opened sealed castles and he wasn't in there. And then I've also had other people say that he's part of either a catapult set. Part of the catapult set. But this guy is the one that comes. The reason I brought him out, he comes with the catapult set. So I'm not sure still where he comes from. So he's got someone has a picture of what this guy was in the packaging originally. I would love to see that. Love to solve this mystery. At the end of the day, though, this is still just another figure if you're trying to complete the set that you'd have to pick up to complete the set, or just not have them, I guess. But Crystar is fun to talk about, and my mystery is continuing. Didn't write this wrong yet. All right, I hope everybody enjoys my second Righting My Wrongs video, an excuse to talk about 5 or more toy lines just for fun, to catch up on some stuff that I didn't talk about in the past. And I'll be doing more of this in the future and finding more excuses to talk about more vintage toy lines on Retro Wednesday coming up. Like and subscribe, comment below. Tadira, hang around.